Shabbat, kol saludi viva. When Shabbat, a toda la familia. When Shabbat, con salud divina. When Shabbat, a toda la familia. When Shabbat, con salud. When Shabbat, a toda la familia.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Temple B'nai Or. Let's welcome each other. If you haven't already in the chat, say Shabbat Shalom. If you're new, say who you are, say where you're from. I was recently on a 3-day Zoom retreat with a group of rabbis, and we had lots of discussions about the chat function on Zoom. And if you're on YouTube, use the comments there. But we had a lot of discussion. We were discussing, is it when people engage in the chat function, are they not, God forbid, not paying attention to services and praying? But we all decided that no, this is a way to be interactive in our mediated medium right here, where we can't be with each other. So schmooze on the chat. You have my permission. And we're going to start tonight with a quiz. And I'm going to have to go through because we're going to keep going with the service. But I'll start with a quiz, and whoever wins, I'll have to, I don't know, when we can get back together, I'll pat you on the back. Tonight, this Shabbat, our Torah portion, Yitro, is the Torah portion that contains the Aseret HaDibrot in Hebrew, the 10 utterances, otherwise known in the Western world as the 10 Commandments. If you can type out the abbreviated 10 Commandments, get all 10 of them the way that Jews count them, then you win. So don't Google, just see if you can do it. Shabbat Shalom. Let's welcome Shabbat with lighting of our candles. It's my honor to call tomorrow's bar mitzvah, Ben Glazer, and his family, his parents, his sister, as we light our Shabbat candles.
Here we go.
Oh, hear the prayer we sing to you. Be gracious to the ones we love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear our prayer too. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
Beautiful. Thank you for leading us in this beautiful blessing. We are going to call you back at the end of the service where Ben is going to lead us in Kiddush. And now I'd like to share with you once again the melody we opened with tonight. It is a melody written by Flori Yagoda, who died this week. And Flori Yagoda was a composer, a wonderful singer, and an advocate for Sephardic music being played and sung in worship and in concert all over the United States and the world. So tonight we share this melody. If you're in Kolot or you know this, please join me. And if you're not, please join me. Buen Shabbat, con salud y vida. Buen Shabbat, a toda la familia. Buen Shabbat, con salud y vida. Buen Shabbat, toda la familia. And we continue bringing the angels of Shabbat into our homes, into our hearts, with the Shalom Aleichem Mizmor, traditionally sung at the table. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Melech Malachei Malachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Yom. Melech Malachei Malachim, Hakadosh Berchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei yom. Melech malchei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Etchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei continue with Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash from Psalm 96. We welcome Shabbat, singing unto God a new song. Let's sing together. Shir Adonai, Shir Chadash, Shir Adonai, Kol Haaretz, Shir Adonai, Baruchu Shemo, Basru Miyom Yayom Yeshuato.
Chadodi, the first verse, which we'll see on page 20 if you have a prayer book, we'll put it up in a second on the screen, says Shamor v'Zachor. It's because there's two times the Ten Commandments are recounted in the Torah, and one time it says Shamor et HaShabbat, to keep Shabbat, and one time it says Zachor et HaShabbat, to remember Shabbat. Our tradition says that keeping Shabbat are the positive commandments, saying Kiddush, having a meal, resting, Shamor are the negative commandments. Don't work, don't light fires, don't. And the Zachor, the rememberers, are the positive commandments: to have a meal, to have 3 meals, to rest, to say Kiddush. But it says here in L'Chadodi, Shamor v'Zachor b'dibur echad, that Shamor and Zachor were said in one word. What does that mean? So our tradition looks at the two times the 10 commandments are given in the Torah, and there's this discrepancy. So it must be that God says them as one word. We as humans can't speak 2 words at once, but maybe God can. But what might that be saying? That they're just as important. The thou shalts and the thou shalt nots are just as important. To say, oh, Shabbat is just about, resting, or Shabbat is just about eating. No, it's also about not working. You can rest and work, or you can work and not rest, or you can not work and not rest. You need the Shamor and the Zachor. Shabbat is not just about recreation. Shabbat is not just about saying a few prayers. It's a full package that you experience with your whole body, your whole soul. So Shamor v'Zachor b'dibur echad. L'Chadodi is on page 20.
Shabbat mekabela l'chadodi yalai likrat kala yalai b'nei Shabbat b'nei Shabbat mekabela. Shamor v'Zachor בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד, שמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת, ולתפילה. בני שבת, בני שבת מקבלה. לקראת שבת, לכו ובלכה, כי מקור הברכה. ראש מקדם הסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. יאללה לחדודי, יאללה לקראת קלה, יאללה בני שבת, בני שבת מקבלה. התעוררי, כי העורף קומי אורי, אורי שיר קבלי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. רועי ושלום, עטרת שבעלה, גם בשמחה וצהלה, תוך אמונה סגולה, אוהי חלה, אוהי חלה, יאי לי לי, יאללה לה לחרודי, יאללה לה לה לקראת קלה, יאללה לה בני שבת, בני שבת, if you have risen, then stay risen. And if you haven't and you'd like to rise, please rise for the Baruch Hu, if you are able and willing.
We pray on page 31, praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows.
מבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אחד וקיים, תמיד נוחלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבים.
Amen.
Sing together for how much God loves us and how much we love God back. את ישראל, עמך אותנו לימדת. כן, אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגה יומם ולילה נגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תעשי ממנו לעמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו Please be seated. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Page 39. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered. At Sinai, we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again, we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be at one and at peace, Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
אדוני יעקב ויעלום מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
אמן.
השכיבנו. There be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Ashkevenu, Adonai Eloheinu. שומרנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Who's taking the harmony? השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו השכיבנו לשלום. There be love and understanding. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm. ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
אמן. לעשות
ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. Joy ושמעו בני ישראל השבת, לעשות את השבת, לדור אותם ברית עולם. וביום השני שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. Last chorus ושמעו בני ישראל השבת, זאת את השבת, לדור אותם ברית עולם. How the Jews love that tune. We continue with the Amidah. We take a moment to breathe deeply in the Amidah. I'm going to take a moment to look at all of your faces. I do appreciate when you sing along. It's beautiful for me. Thank you very much. I can hear you in my head. We'll take a breath together as one community. We're going to ask God to open up our lips as one community, and then we're going to then continue independently with the prayers of the Amidah. This is an opportunity, an invitation for us to rise once again, really root our feet in the ground, extend our achy spine up, down and up. Extend your spine as much as you possibly can. Yeah, definitely stretch up your arms if that's what feels right now. And we begin together with words of the Amidah, and we continue each on our own. Adonai, sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehillatcha. Adonai, sfatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehillatcha.
Tu madre cuando te parió y te quitó el mundo, corazón ella no te dio para amar segundo. Corazón ella no te dio para amar segundo. Adiós, adiós, querida, no quiero la vida, me la marcaste tú. Adiós, adiós, querida, no quiero la vida, me la marcaste tú. Va, búscate otra amor, agarra otras puertas, espera otra harto, que para mí sos muerta. Espera otra harto, que para mí sos amor.
course, it was music from the composer, the compiler of Sephardic music, Flori Yogoda, who died this week. We now think of our loved ones, people in our community, people in our circle of care who are in need of healing of body, healing of spirit, the refuah shlema. This Shabbat, we're praying for Charlotte Aberman, Judy Allen, Mark Allen, Marilyn Askin, Joyce Becker, Larry Benson, Margot Blaustein, Claudia DeJesu, Nicholas DeJesu, Ted Freed, Mary Jo Glazer, Jerry Gundy, Lena Alexandrova Berlovich Hammer, Oliver David Horn, Sheila Karner, Gay Clapman, Leon Kurland, Joseph Lupkin, Lori Mazzarella, Michael Morrissey, Danny New, Barbara Perrette, Judy Ragona, Bobsy Rifkin, David Rifkin, Eileen Reinfleisch, Karen Russo, Don Rubin, Barbara Sabiri, Deb Sabiri, Bernice Seid, Glenn Swatinsky, Marjorie Van Dow, Lisa Wolper, and Edie Weinstein. If there are others we're praying for this week, please, you feel free to put their name in the chat. Feel free to say their name out loud. We pray for healing with our words of healing, Misha Berach.
May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing and let us say, bless those in need of healing, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
So friends, our contest is now ending. If you weren't there at the beginning of the service, I gave us all a challenge to come up with the 10 commandments, and whoever did will win something sometime, but nobody did. So nobody came. I don't even think, I'm looking through the chat, I don't even think cumulatively we've come up with the 10 commandments. So you all have to go back to Hebrew school. I don't know, what were you doing in Hebrew school? So as I said at the beginning, this week's Torah portion, Yitro, has the 10 commandments. Now, in Hebrew, they're called Aseret HaDibrot, the 10 utterances, because they're not really commandments in the sense that a lot of things in the Torah are, which are legislation. These are more big guidelines. And maybe you could see that the rest of the 603 commandments in the Torah flow from these. But here we go. I say the contest is over because I'm going to tell you the 10 commandments in their abbreviated form. They're more spelled out a bit in the text. But I am the eternal, your God. Number 1, you shall have no gods other than me. You shall not take the name of the eternal, your God, in vain. That means make a promise using God's name and then not do it. Remember Shabbat. Honor your father and mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. our tradition sometimes interprets that as you shall not kidnap. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. That means lie in court. You shall not covet. That means be jealous of the things that your neighbors, that everybody has. Now, sometimes in our tradition says this one's more about stealing stuff, but coveting leads to stealing, they say. So, as I said before, there are 613 mitzvot, 613 commandments in the Torah, but here we have these big 10. What the Israelites experienced at Sinai, there's different commentators through the tradition argue over if they heard all of them or what did they hear from God, but our text has these 10 utterances given at Sinai. Some people like to split them up. 5 and 5. You've seen pictures of the 2 tablets with, Aleph through Hey, and then Vav through Tet, or maybe you see them with the Roman numerals, but they would have been Aleph and Hey, of course. The first 5, if you split them up like that, are about our relationship to God. And then the second 5 are about interpersonal relationships. But does that really fit with number 5? Number 5, honor your father and mother. Here's the complete verse from this week's Torah portion. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the eternal God gives you. The version in the book of Deuteronomy adds not just that your days will be long, but you will also fare well. So your days will be long and good. In fact, this is one of 2 mitzvot in the whole Torah that has a reward connected to it, and that the reward is a long life. The other one is about pushing away a mother bird before you take her eggs. We'll have to wait till the summer to hear a sermon on that one. But before I explore if this fits into the relationship with God half of the commandments, because it doesn't mention God, let's explore a bit more about this mitzvah of honoring our parents. HEC professor Michael Chernick writes, honoring one's parents is directed to the concern for the physical needs. The Talmud teaches honoring one's parents is observed by helping them to eat and drink, clothing and covering them, and helping them go in and out. Feeling respectful or feeling honor is not central to the Talmud. Rather, acting in a way that makes the parent feel that she or he is the significant and special person to the child is what Jewish law demands. So we see our tradition spells out the actions you do to show that you honor. And a related commandment in Vayikra, in the book of Leviticus, says that we should be in awe of our parents. While the Talmud interprets honoring as food and clothes and helping, to show awe for your parents, one should not stand or sit in the parent's usual place, not contradict your parents, and not interfere with your parents' disputes with others. So that's what our ancient texts say. Honoring and respecting have to do with taking care of, presumably it's talking about old age, and then deferring to them. In the same section in the Talmud, there's this story. It once happened that there was a young man who fed his father fattened chickens. But when his father asked from where they came, the son said, old man, shut up and eat. Even his dogs shut up when they eat. Thus, even though the young man provided plenty of fine food for his father, he did not inherit a portion in paradise. There was another young man whose work was grinding wheat. When the king sent word that millers must be brought to work for him, the young man said to his father, Father, you go to the mill to grind in my stead, and I will go to do the king's work. Should there be humiliation in the king's work, I would rather be humiliated and not you. Should there be flogging, let me receive the blows and not you. Thus, although he made his father grind the mill, the son inherited the Garden of Eden. So let's get back to the question I asked a few minutes ago. What does honoring one's parents have to do with our relationship with God? Remember, number 5, the 5th commandment, honoring your parents, is on the relationship with God side of the tablet. So I just noticed here we have the 2 tablets up here. But I read tradition says they're not rounded at the top, they're flat at the top. All the art is wrong. So the Rambam answers this question about what does it have to do with our relationship with God. Having finished all that we owe to the Creator in the 10 Commandments, the text turns to deal with God's creatures. It begins with one's parents, who are like a co-creator with God in forming their descendants. For God is our first parent, and the ones who sired us are only our immediate parents. We honor God for being the creator. We honor our parents because they continued the creation by making us. By honoring our parents, we honor God. The Hebrew word for honor is kavod. It has to do with heaviness. We're talking about a heavy thing here, dignity, the importance of others. While we are commanded to honor our parents, much of Jewish tradition holds that we should have a general attitude of honor towards everyone. You honor God, you honor your parents, that honor will continue to flow. The sage Ben Zoma asks, who is honorable? The one who gives honor to others. A 20th century Hasidic rabbi writes, when the Mishnah asks who is honorable, it does not mean who is made honorable or dignified by other people, as is the common understanding. What value is there in being dependent on other people giving you dignity? Rather, who is dignified? One who gives dignity to all people, is teaching that the gaze of one person to another is like glancing in a mirror. If his face is dirty, he will see in the mirror a dirty face. So it's the same when a person looks at the other, the amount that he is pure and refined internally, so that he will look more generously upon the other and see good attributes. On the other hand, if she is infected with bad attributes and behaviors, she will see bad attributes in everyone else. Therefore, the truly dignified person is the one who treats all people with dignity, who appreciates all people. This behavior is the true sign that this person is dignified themselves. So what about people who annoy us? Even people who annoy us, even people who we think are below us in some way. We honor God, we honor our parents, we let that honor keep flowing. When we see another, they are dignified like we are, like our parents are, like God is. Maybe this is why it talks about the reward for this mitzvah is a long life. I don't think it means, because we have a lot of evidence against it, that you follow this mitzvah and you will live many years. I think it means the quality of your life and the quality of the life that you share with others. That honor, dignity, flowing down and flowing through and up is what lengthens our days, makes our days good, makes our life dignified, beautiful. And so we honor our mother and father. Shabbat Shalom. And so in dignity, let's rise in spirit, rise in body. Page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי הארצות, אבל לא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Let the time not be distant, O God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when superstition shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. Oh, may all created in your image become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your realm be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We now think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, our mothers, our fathers, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. This week, we're in the period of Shloshim, the first month of mourning for Michael Raskin and Rita Weber. And this week marks the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of Alice Auslander, Nancy Austin, David Blyer, Philip Brecker, Jenny Brody, Richard Carlton, Lola Delson, Joseph Donner, Simon Dreskin, Stanley Feingold, Jesse Feldstein, Toby Fish, Raymond Gorman, Sylvia Israel, Dora Kaplan, Sidney Keats, Mildred Kriegsfeld, Esther Lefko, Bernard Levin, Michael Levine, Celia Levy, William Robert Lewis, Ida Linsenbaum, Nathaniel Lubo, Harry May, David Michaels, Carl Myers, Barbara Piermont, Francis Reagan, Milton Rockland, Betty Schulman, Harry Schwartz, Celia Spur, Frederick D. Stryker, William Tremmel, Irving Wax, Harold Weber, Sadie Weinberger, Hattie Whitehead, and Marie Zernick. For remembering others whose name was not mentioned, please feel free to put their name in the chat. Please feel free to say their name out loud. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for blessing. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. If you want to unmute yourself to hear, if you want to say Kaddish, you can feel free to unmute yourself so we can hear the cacophonous sounds of these words. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'yama v'yurah v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon uv'yom echon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman karib v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'amei amaya. Yitvarach yishtabach yitar v'yitromam v'yinaseh. Yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei d'kudesha b'rivku. Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata damiran b'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen.
Amen.
Alleluia,
please mute yourself now. We call back the Glazers. We call back Ben and his parents, Andrea and Dave, his sister Madeline, to lead us in Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedshanu b'mitzvotav b'ratzon banu v'shabbat kodsho b'hava u'b'ratzon yinhilanu zikaron l'maaseh b'reshit Kivu Yom Tehillah Lemikra Kodesh Zecher Litziat Mitzrayim Kivanu Bacharta V'tanu Kidashta Mikol Hamim V'Shabbat Kodecha V'Ahava U'Ratzon Yinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
L'chaim.
Fine.
And challah.
Oh,
Where's your challah?
wait, do I need to do this one?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You don't have a knife.
We tear it though.
We could.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam.
Hamotzi
lehem min haaretz.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat
Shabbat.
shalom.
You have to break the bread.
Woo!
Shabbat,
I was here.
Shabbat shalom. Join us to schmooze in the oneg.